Eddie Ward, the referee this afternoon. You notice him sporting the black armband. A minute's silence in memory of a man who was just about an ornament as far as the administration of the game. Been right through all of the eras, through Buckley, Humphreys and Quayle. The kickoff. Canterbury defending the southern end of the ground in the first half. Jason Alchin it is, who's going to get up and play it about 18 metres out from the Canterbury line. Lamb going from dummy half.
Canterbury have made a few changes from last week's team to accommodate the return of Steve Mortimer. Jason Alchin moving back to fullback from halfback. Tony Curry into the centre. Out of last week's team are Glenn Nissen, Michael Hagan and Mark Bugden. And that brings Mortimer into half. Lamb back from injury to 5'8". And Joe Thomas comes in at the hooker spot. In fact, there's virtually no weakness that you can see on paper in this Canterbury lineup. I just wonder, Jason Alchin back at fullback is a very elusive runner, but he may have a little trouble if they put up a good bomb. He's not the tallest of men and may have a little trouble climbing high if there's good chasing coming through.
East with the ball, just inside Canterbury's territory. Shepherd to get up and play it. Marshall's the hooker. Worth's pass away. That's Hall. Cut out pass. Morris. Steve Morris. Good run from Morris.
Poor tackling, just as much as a good run. Canterbury will want to quickly step up the defensive rate if that's going to be an indication.
Last to tackle, so the kick coming from Portlock. That's Robin Thorne back there. As many regular viewers of ABC television will remember Robin Thorne's great try to snatch victory against Canberra on this very ground in the first round. Those two teams, of course, playing next weekend in round 19 of the Winfield Cup. Of course, ABC television will be at Lang Park next Saturday afternoon when Brisbane are at home to North Sydney. Portlock takes that. He runs it back to the halfway line. That was Williams in a dummy half, and that's the other replacement, McLean, who's got it to the halfway line. Another former Queenslander. Gill missed it. Shepherd. Gee, that was a good run. Gee, didn't he give Andrew Farrer a nice don't argue. Melrose. Jarvis, not a good pass. Worth there to pick up the crumbs. Langmack, the defender. Last tackle. It's the chip and chase in the end. But Mortimer's there, playing that sweeping role to perfection.
Tony Melrose, an interesting experiment by Arthur Beetson then at lock forward. Has been reasonably successful after spending most of his career out on the backs. I saw him that time taking his time, pretending that he was going to put up the high bomb, but in the end chipping over the top, and he's got the pace to come through. But, that time the second line of defence was there for Canterbury.
Alchin from dummy half. Gee, they'll be watching him, Eastern Suburbs, very closely. He's got a great turn of speed, as Jason Alchin. The kick, well taken. This is Williams.
He's the replacement for David Smith, who in the last 2 weeks has had a great game and a poor game, David Smith, before being ruled out today.
Jarvis, 10 metres inside East Territory. That's Portlock. He knocked it on, didn't he? He did knock it on, says the referee. Only a slight one, but it was enough. That's the thing about... Here it is again. Let's just watch this. You'll see him. It's only a little one. Just a little one. See? Marshall. Good run. Inside Canterbury's territory. Morris. Again, Farrell's the defender. Portlock. Jarvis. Thomas and Dunn affect the tackle. 11 metres Canterbury's side of halfway. Penalty. Not allowing him to get up straight away.
Referee Ward cracking down, making sure the tackle player is allowed to play the ball as quickly as he can. So Wayne Portlock's going to have a shot at goal. a long way out.
About 40-odd metres out. Interesting thing, of course, Warren, it might well be the area in which Eastern Suburbs will miss David Smith today. There's one thing about him is that he can kick goals from just about anywhere in the opponent's half. If he's on his kicking game, he really can put them straight over the top of the black dot. So Portlock with the pressure on. Sign from Norths, 1985 I think it was, from memory. Here he comes, Portlock. He struck it pretty well. It's high, but just across the face. It looked pretty good off the boot.
You mentioned David Smith in a side that isn't scoring a lot of points and certainly not winning enough games this season. He's the third highest point scorer in the competition. That's a good individual effort from him.
Just exemplifying what I'm saying, how deadly he is with that boot when he gets the chance. The drop out from Farah. That's Hall. Marshall's pass. Quite sure whether anyone called for that. Seemed to throw the pass to thin air and no one was there. Here's Gilmister. On the halfway line. Marshall's the dummy half again. Jarvis, McLean. Good tackle, folks. Was the man that took him ball and all. Lamb in there lending assistance. Melrose, Hall, Melrose. The kick over the top. Portlock's got there first. He's got that pass away. Here's a chance for Eastern Suburbs. Morris. Now Morris is over the quarter line. Morris puts the grubber kick in. Morris will get there first. What a try! Oh, what a super try! He's a genius, Stevie Morris. One of the best individualists in the game, and that was sheer Stevie Morris magic. A couple of others involved, but my word, wasn't that just sheer class?
Well, there were a couple of others involved, and the first man to handle 3 times in the try was Tony Melrose. Firstly, the pass, the run around, the kick over the top, and then who backs up Portlock here but Melrose once more. But let's watch the skill of Steve Morris. In this position, he had only the fullback in front, but he knew Alchin should have been able to tackle him, puts it on the boot, and dives over to ground it well safely. I think he got it down fairly. But really, great football from Steve Morris in the end. Firstly, the kick. Perfectly positioned. Steve Mortimer was in the second line, but Portlock had the pace on him. Gets the pass away to keep it alive. Melrose backing up for the 3rd time in this try. And here it is. Morris, one-on-one, realises that he should be tackled, decides to put it ahead and regathers for the try.
Here's Portlock from the sideline. It looks good. It's going to be just on the outside of that right upright. And so the score at the Belmore Sports Ground, Eastern Suburbs 4, Canterbury 0.
Seeing a good kicking game from both sides at the moment. Tony Melrose for East and Mortimer and Lamb doing well at the present time for Canterbury with the kicks.
Worth gets up and plays it. They're down their own end of the park at the moment, Eastern Suburbs. Since the try was scored, play really has been centred on or around this Eastern Suburbs quarter line as Jarvis takes it up. Now that's Marshall, the hooker, just outside the east quarter line, back towards the centre of the field. Despite the rain that we've had in Sydney, the ground is in very good condition. Waiting for the kick, Terry Lamb anticipating. He miscued. The kick went in the end.
Well, Terry Lamb was already airborne when Tony Melrose realised that and decided to gain a couple of more metres.
Does he get any marks for pirouetting in the ice dancing or something? Here's Steve Mortimer. Mortimer chips ahead. Mortimer's been knocked down, but did he get deliberately knocked down? Morris is back there to clean it up, and the referee's going to say yes, Mortimer was deliberately knocked to the ground by Portlock. Penalty to Canterbury right in front. Tunks and Dunn saying, why not a penalty try?
Well, we'll look at this closely again. Mortimer making the bust straight through, sheer speed, bursting through McLean's tackle. And we've got a player in the sin bin, but did Portlock take Mortimer out? It looked as if he certainly did make the movement. Portlock was in front of him, and then the little movement to the left to take Mortimer down. Wayne Portlock, 5 minutes in the bin for what's called a professional foul.
I didn't see too many protestations from Wayne Portlock. But
I don't think a penalty try was justified because it wasn't Mortimer who was going to regather the ball.
Morris still got the ball first anyway, right. And Thorne was also there. The interesting thing was it deliberate? Now, this is going to be the interesting one. Now, we've got to look. Now, here's Mortimer coming at Portlock. Now, did Portlock deliberately impede Mortimer? Yes.
He was tempted not to, but at the last moment he thought, I'm not going to let him go by.
Now Lamb from right in front. A chance to put Canterbury's first points on the board for the afternoon. Terry Lamb to try and get those points. 2 points to Canterbury Bankstown. And so Eastern Suburbs lead Canterbury Bankstown by 4 points to 2. Look at the commitment with these Canterbury forwards now. Try might have been just the thing to get Canterbury going. Melrose continuing this kicking game of his. Alchin seeing a little bit of an opening, gets back to the halfway. Good run from Alchin. Look at Jason Alchin go. He's got no support though. What a good run. Gary Worth saving the day for the Roosters, but here come the Bulldogs again. Here's Lamb. Quickly has gone away to Farah. That was a good tackle from Dean Clark right round the legs. 40 metres, should say 30 metres out. Curry. Crossfield he goes. Can't get the pass away. Midway, half and quarter line. Steve Mortimer. That was a forward pass. Thorne's got on the outside of his man. Back on the inside. It's going to be a try. And Steve Folkes is going to come round and score one under the posts. Looked like a forward pass from Mortimer to Thorne. But it doesn't make any difference. Steve Folkes has got the 4-pointer. Canterbury leads 6-4.
Well, Steve Mortimer involved in the creation of the break here with the pass. Skirting away wide of the ruck. Slipping away, has that pace to get on the outside of the man. There's the questionable pass. We'll have another look at that one, but certainly the positioning of the winger there, Jason Williams, very poor. He let Robin Thorne get away from him. Thorne did well to get the pass back inside, and the key, as always, is backing up from Steve Folkes this time to finish off the good move. We might have a close look at this forward pass, or questionable pass here from Mortimer. Gets away from him on the edge of the ruck. The defence was thin. The pass spins away, almost a flat one, but Jason Williams should never have let Robin Thorne get past him there. He had him man on man, and he let him go past him. I guess he was worried about Steve Mortimer, that he might keep on coming.
Terry Lamb to try and make it 2 out of 2. It's there. Canterbury with that converted try. Open up a break now of 4 points. They lead Eastern Suburbs by 8 points to 4. McLean's the dummy half. McLean taken there, but he got away from Dunn's tackle, and in the end it's Langmack and Mortimer who put him on the deck. Last tackle comes away now towards Melrose. Back on the inside, Gilmister. They're running at the Canterbury defence. The ball's gone loose and Brandon Lee has it, and it's a penalty. Against Canterbury Bankstown, the referee saying obviously that an Eastern Suburbs player was held off that ball when it went loose, and so the penalty from right in front, it's a gift 2 points. The Canterbury player obviously had held an Eastern Suburbs player away from trying to dive on that loose ball.
The referee's decision was very clear. Here's the replay. Let's see if we can pick it up. Who was taken out there?
There's Gilmister's pass. We couldn't see it in the back play, but whatever it was.
It may have happened just a moment earlier, and I think the referee was playing the advantage, just to wait to see if he could capitalise without the penalty.
So Portlock taking the long kicks at goal, and this fellow Kurt Sherlock is taking the short ones, it seems. Gillespie back on after being in the head bin. So Brandon Lee, who fell on that loose ball, is off the field again. Sherlock try and make it 2 more points for East. He's successful. So Canterbury Bankstown now lead Eastern Suburbs by 8 points to 6 with that penalty goal kick by Kurt Sherlock.
Canterbury backs are well spread, right across the field, deep.
Alchin, Langmack, Steve Mortimer off the left foot. They're still spread very deep. Last tackle, Langmack. Should say out it comes now towards Farah. Quick hands, it comes away to O'Brien. O'Brien, the kick ahead. The race will be won by Curry, and Curry has scored the try.
Well, if the try hadn't been scored, I think Portlock was involved in taking a player out again. But Canterbury have come up with the points. Good football too. They used the backs. They'd had them well set, and it was a beautiful pass from Andrew Farah. The cut-out pass out to Steve O'Brien. He puts it on the toe as it goes through, and there was Tony Curry. Did he force his ball properly? It appeared to me with the naked eye that it slipped behind him. But, we'll look at a different angle here. The perfect pass from Andrew Farah to create the overlap for his winger. Again, the winger coming off to Steve Morris. O'Brien taken out as he put the kick through. Now, did Curry ground this properly? I don't think so.
That's two were tried so far that there was probably some doubt about whether the ball was actually correctly forced. Terry Lamb to try and convert the Curry try. It looks good, it's there. So 2 more points to Canterbury Bankstown via the boot of Terry Lamb. And Canterbury now lead Eastern Suburbs by 14 points to 6. Here's Mortimer again. He's been everywhere this afternoon. The ball's loose. It's come off an Eastern Suburbs player's hand, but the referee said no. Last tackle. So Lamb has a shot at field goal that looks good off the boot. Looks pretty good. It's there. Field goal to Terry Lamb. And Canterbury Bankstown are now leading by 15 points to 6. And that was a gem of a field goal. Look at this.
Well, Terry Lamb could well be at Ballymore today looking at that kick. That was a beauty from a long way out. The distance and the direction, perfect.
You'd almost think that East would have to score before half-time to get back into this game. They're desperate for points at the moment, but really, from the time they scored their opening try, Canterbury have dominated this match. That's a forward pass.
In fact, the player was offside, according to Eddie Ward. Terry Lamb with the ball, getting the pass away, and Jason Alchin caught in front of Terry Lamb, not just a forward pass, but offside.
Sherlock. Kurt Sherlock. The opportunity to post another 2 points. It looks good, It's there! 2 more points to Eastern Suburbs. And so the margin back to just 7 points. Canterbury Bankstown 15, Eastern Suburbs 8. Lamb, Tunks.
Tunks has been running strongly, but the defence so far has been able to knock him over, but he's making good ground.
Here's Dunn, almost lost it. Hit solidly there over the top by Gilmister. Underneath was Melrose. Thomas. Mortimer comes away now from Folkes. Folkes can't get his pass. On the quarter line, Thomas. Mortimer again. This is Alchin. His pass comes to Thomas. Thomas, can he get away? Thomas trying hard. He's there. Fair try. Marshall tried hard as he had hold of the jumper. Strength, determination got him there. And Canterbury lead 19 points to 8.
Well, this try very handy for Canterbury. The ball slips away. Mortimer, long pass out there and bouncing around. They keep the ball alive eventually. But we'll just pick it up in a moment. But Wayne Marshall hanging on for dear life to try and prevent the try. Joe Thomas in at dummy half. Mortimer first pass off the ruck, sights half an opening, pulls 3 in. That was what opened it up. And then the good run, finally it is by Thomas. And Marshall hanging on. His opposite number for grim death, trying to struggle. Well, the ball came down short of the line, but I think it was a fair try. Went over the line in the one movement.
I think in the end his momentum might have carried him across from the force of the tackle of Jarvis. Let's have a look at it again. Here's Alchin. Now here's Thomas. Now look at Marshall. Strong. Look at those legs. And in the end, I think as Jarvis came over the top, that momentum might have been enough for Thomas to score his 3rd try of the year. Terry Lamb to try and make it 4 from 4. He's successful, converting the Joe Thomas try. And so Canterbury Bankstown now lead Eastern Suburbs by 21 points to 8. There's John Elias, the fresh reserve. Canterbury with the ball. Last tackle against the Canterbury Bulldogs. Away now to Mortimer. Mortimer's kick. Straight down the throat of Williams. Jason Williams is 2. Well wrapped up there by Curry. There's been some good defence by the backs this afternoon. Well, all over really, but some lovely stuff around the legs. Tony Milrose, by the way, the lock forward, is the equal top defender in the Eastern Suburbs team this afternoon. Good performance. Maybe that's reward for him because he's about to leave the field, and John Elias, who has the ball now, takes it up as he comes on as the fresh replacement.
Well, Tony Melrose is a player who opposition teams often thought was weak in the tackling department, but he's just showing that put him in the forwards, he's determined he'll do the job and do it well.
Spina tries the little chip and chase. Now, was he knocked over? The referee said no. He certainly went to the ground, but I think he ran into a Canterbury player more than the Canterbury player knocking him down. Canterbury with it 11 metres out from the Bulldogs line. As far as the Canterbury tackling is concerned, no surprises there. Paul Dunn, as always, the top tackler. 25 he's got through so far this afternoon. Joe Thomas, 22. Steve Folkes, who left the field not long ago, 15. Tunks. Gillespie. Looks like the shag on a rock that time. Farah's pass away, it comes to Curry. Curry, he's spotted an opening. He's got support both sides. Curry on the outside, he's got the pass back, but off balance, they can't keep the momentum going. And in the end, it's going to be a handover. The touch judge is in, though.
Tony Curry wasn't happy about something, and he looked up to the touch judge. Maybe an interference somewhere here.
Jason Curry, the one called out.
The good run from Curry after making the split. Interference in the back play. Just out of the corner of our eye, and that was what Curry was wondering where his support had gone to. He was pulled out of the play.
You could see it clearly in the back play that Jason Williams had taken Robin Thorne really out of the play. Didn't really give him a chance. There's David Truella, reputedly signed a massive contract during the week to stay with Eastern Suburbs. I believe he signed a contract. As Eastern Suburbs run it back. East with the ball, and it's been intercepted. Here's a chance. It's Curry. Put away the glasses. He's got speed to burn. Tony Curry races away. Thank you very much. Underneath the post. 25 points to 8. He's got a lot of speed, has Tony Curry.
Well, the East centres, Dean Clark and Kurt Sherlock, have been able to contain Andrew Farah and Tony Curry most of the time, but the mistake here gives Curry the chance to display speed. The intercept pass, Curry read it well, he could see what was happening, anticipation and then speed, because the only one chasing or in a position to chase was Mike McLean, and he had no hope against Tony Curry, who could cover the ground. And the ball-pointer underneath the post, and that is certainly the game. Laurie Spina here making a upper dash. The pass goes away to Brendan Hall. That pass intercepted, and that was shut the gate. No one was going to catch Curry. No one was at home. East were on the attack, and Curry all the way.
Part of the Queensland side that made a clean sweep of the State of Origin series. And of course, playing with Canterbury, who have a chance of winning the Winfield Cup. Terry Lamb to try and convert the Tony Curry try, successful. Straight over the black dot. 27 points to 8 now the score. Terry Lamb leaving the field. Another good game this afternoon. Kids are pretty happy. He'd be pretty popular with just about every Canterbury supporter, this fella. The big smile on his face. Became a dad again in the last fortnight.
There's a few players out there today who just haven't played strongly enough right throughout the year. Players maybe are thinking that you didn't have to put the effort in again after making the final last year, that it comes easy. It just doesn't come easy in the Sydney Premiership. And likewise, Arthur Beetson, he goes down with the ship to a certain extent. Arthur's been there since 1985. He's got a superb coaching record over the years, winning the Coach of the Year 1 year. But maybe this year he was there for one season too long. Whatever the reason, East really did have the personnel available for enough games for them to perform better than they have this year. They certainly were favourites at the start of the year. In fact, the prediction was that they would be in the grand final.
James Donnelly's lucky he didn't get penalised there. Maybe the referee has paying the benefit of the doubt here. Here's a try for Eastern Suburbs. They won't catch this fellow as Jason Williams races away. Good try to Eastern Suburbs. He's got a lot of speed as young Williams. Good football from Easts. But really it started from when the ball was played forward by Spina. There was 2 attempts by Donnelly to trip him, and he was rather lucky that he didn't get pinged for this. Now you'll see this. Now you'll see Donnelly. See him try to trip him. Now there's the kick ahead. Now watch this. Eastern Suburbs follow it through. Now irrespective of what the ref saw or what he didn't see, it was good backing up. And here's Williams. And look how quickly he gets down to the line to score the try. He's a man who's rated by many as being very fast. There's the kick. It looks good. It's there. 2 more points to Kurt Sherlock. And so Canterbury Bankstown now lead Eastern Suburbs by 27 points to 14.
Yes, Canterbury have a reasonable run home with Easts. This week, of course, then Canberra, Illawarra, St George and Souths. So Canberra, that game you mentioned.
Here's another chance for Canterbury. Canterbury racing away. Oh, good tackle from behind. Gillespie thought he was going to race 50 metres to score, but again Sherlock, who's been close to Eastern Suburbs' best player this afternoon, affects the tackle, and now the penalty. Premature striking in the play the ball. And the penalty's game. In fact, he's got the marker for being not correctly marked. I thought he might have got him for prematurely striking the second time in the play the ball.
I'm sure he could have gone either way. There was desperation from the defence. The great tackle from Sherlock on Gillespie, who was striding away. But then we've got marking up Steve Morris. Does he strike too early? Yes. And also Sherlock not directly opposite the man playing the ball. Either way, penalty was well deserved.
That's exactly the word that describes Canterbury, I think. They're a very professional outfit. A lot of experience. Backup goal kickers such as Andrew Farrer, who struck this pretty well, and it's got it. 2 more points to Canterbury Bankstown. Terry Land goes off. Andrew Farrer comes on and kicks 1 from 1. It's 29 points to 14.
Because this forward pack of Paul Dunn, Peter Tunks, David Gillespie, Steve Folkes, Paul Langmack and Joe Thomas, who's played pretty well today as well. That forward pack should be able to match anyone in this competition. And you've got Mortimer at Lamb, who have ball skills. They complement a man who can make a break with someone who will back up all day long. They're tactical kickers and then plenty of speed out wide as well.
Well, there's the full-time siren going in the background. And so at full-time here at the Belmore Sports Ground, Canterbury Bankstown have defeated Eastern Suburbs by 29 points to 14 to join Canberra at the top of the Winfield Cup competition table.